Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Trang Tries It, where I explore a spiritual or metaphysical service. That way, if you see it and like it, you can help and support their business. So today, I am getting a Chinese face reading, and pretty much that's where they can see features of your face, apparently, and that can tell a lot about you. She also uses your birth date to see what Chinese element you are and tell more about you as well. I actually found her through a Facebook group and had her as a guest speaker during Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, so don't forget to check that episode out and support other businesses owned by women or people of color. So in this session, I actually got a group reading with two of my other friends, so you'll see that this video is kind of cut and a bit choppy because, of course, I wanted to make it only about my reading and took theirs out. And you'll see some parts where it's kind of blurred out anyways, and that's because the Zoom happened to pick up on their video. And so I just wanted to respect their privacy, and hence why the blurring out. Our group reading was for 1.5 hours, but I think you probably could squeeze in maybe 3 people in an hour comfortably. And before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe button down there. You'll also see in this video how to pronounce my real name because the practitioner or the reader here is also Vietnamese. Okay, let's watch.
Hi, Trang.
Hi, Thuy.
You guys are all experiencing your second year in the 9-year cycle, and that is helpers show up building new foundations. So I want to go back so that give you guys information because all of you are Yang Wood elements, which are the lifelong learners. You guys love to learn and love to have always something that it keeps you going, which is wonderful because then you're always growing because you guys thrive on that. And you also have similar themes with visions and control and also just logically thinking through things. And so that's why I kind of want to present it as one so that you guys can help each other out and be more accountable and then also teach you about face reading. So then maybe you can, when you look at other people, what you do with work, then you'll be able to recognize their sensitivities so that with earth elements, you guys would know to talk to them more and ask them about their family first instead of being so directing because they'll want to talk for 5 to 10 minutes first and welcoming, and then they always kind of lean to the side and they apologize a lot. And so if you recognize that, since you guys are all wood elements, that'll help you a little bit more so you learn to slow down for them. Does that make sense? Okay, because you guys are so on track and sometimes so punctual, I can't screw up my schedule, the next person, and with those people you have to give more time to. Does that make sense? I looked at what you guys wanted to know, and I want to tell you first of all that no one can tell you your future because we're a free-willed universe. And that's where I really want to break through on the superstition where people went to a psychic reader, or back in the days with the Asian culture, they took the little kids to the Chinese face reading person, and the face reading person would tell them this and that to the parent, and it kind of actually messed up the entire life instead of giving them things to empower them. And I always want to give people things to empower them and see the potential in them, and then see where when they get off balance.
Yes, I love this so much. The Happy Healing Shop, that's how we like to teach and give readings, but where people should be coming out empowered from the readings and not the point where they feel because of fate or destiny, this is set in stone. It's not like that. We have so much free will. So yeah, that's, again, I really love that she touched upon that because a lot of times when it comes to forecasting predictions, yes, a psychic or someone can tell a really high probability of something that's about to happen, but there's so much free will involved that it's a bit trickier than that.
How they can return back into balance. Does that make sense? I'm going to break it down first through the whole thing and then help you guys and then kind of go through each person and then let you guys help each other out because this year is the year for you guys to build new foundations. Okay. So first of all, what happened? What is the Chinese elements? So that I'm not speaking a bunch of jargon. So it's water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. Okay, so within wood and metal, there's 2 parts to it, which is yin and yang. Okay, and then earth is the most complex because it's got 3 parts to it, which is the archetypes of Earth is Kuan Yin, she who hears the cry of the world. Okay, and then there's the labyrinth, or the mother. Okay, and then there is the mountain. Okay, and now water and fire are pure elements. And the way that I find your element, which is kind of like the computer that you guys are, is through your birth date. Okay, and so there's a chart for that, and I sent you an email with the chart. If you want to look at that later or send it to the girls, Jang, then you guys can actually look up everybody's numbers. Okay, and then if you wanted to find out more, the person that I learned from, her name is Jean Hainer, and her book is called Your Hidden Symmetry. Okay, so your birth date, if it's like February 4th and onward, then it applies to that year. But Jang, your birthday is in January. Okay, so if it's before February 4th, you actually have to go the year prior. So that's why your number then, Jang, is 335, which then makes you a triple wood. And there's two types of wood, yin and yang. So the yin wood is like the bamboo. Okay, so it's strong, it grows straight, but the leaves are everywhere. Right? And then there's the yang wood, which is like the aspen tree, straight up, and then the leaves are on top. That's the type of wood that you are. But both woods are very strong. They really pride themselves on their strength, okay, and also their vision. They are the go-getters. They are the doers. They are the leaders. And Jang has a little bit more roundness, okay? So roundness normally means more of the earth element. Okay, and so normally on like a face, if I see like sharper features or like straighter lines, that's more wood. Okay, and then certain parts of the face that are stronger, I will know that's more metal. So I don't want to go into all of that, okay, because that's just like jargon, right? And it confuses, and you guys want to know sort of what is your path for this year. So with each element, the first number that they are, will determine the year that they are experiencing. And so there's 9 years in a cycle. Okay, so each year will have like a certain element to it and the flow of the year. So this is your personal season. So it may be summer right now, but your season, all of you, is like the beginning of spring. So what happens in the beginning of spring? Things start to grow, right? And when they grow, there's a lot of energy in it, right? The spurts of energy. So that's why you guys tend to have more energy than other people and last a little bit longer. And especially when you get inspired, and especially when you have a vision and a cause to fight for. Now, one thing from all of you guys look so nice, especially from the Shen, like the amount of light from your eyes, that people think you're so nice, but anger actually really fuels you. And on the opposite side of anger is passion. Okay, so this year, because you guys just exited your water year, and the water year can be very hard, this year is for you guys to really get in on your passion, what makes you angry, so that you can convert it and change it sooner. And then when you know what it is that you're fighting for, because you guys are such fighters, all right, and so loyal, and that's like one of your big things. And when you don't see that in other people, that really irritates you.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun, right? Like getting to know this, like, yeah, I kind of do that. Okay. And so sometimes too, like you guys are so nice, you can actually suppress your anger, and then it will show up in another way. And people are like, where did that come from? Okay. And so one of the best things for you guys to do actually is like either screaming into a pillow, or banging on pots and pans, or going for a walk where there's lots of trees. Okay. And then like listening to the sound of the trees, because that's actually the trees talking. For some reason, that just like soothes your soul, your subconscious, and eases you. Okay. Another thing too is just to recognize what is the cause of that anger, and maybe where it has like controlled you before, where you didn't set boundaries. Okay, where you became passive aggressive. Okay. So once you do that though, and then you like, you know what, and then you make a decision, and Wood tends to make decisions pretty quickly, then answers will show up for you. Or you're like, okay, what, because you guys are so resourceful too. Okay, where can I go to find this answer? And then you want the answer now. So make a list, please. And then just pick 2 items instead of like trying to do 4 or 5 and tossing it out there to see which one like sticks first. So right now then, before I direct this more, what is your biggest area that you want to change? Because in the next really 2 months is huge time, like not just with Chinese medicine and the season of summer, things growing in fruition and people coming out and being passionate and enjoying, you know, the harvest and such. I don't want you to miss out on the windows of opportunity for you guys to really connect with people and where to go. Okay, so if it's relationship that you want more of, is it more money in your current job? Is it a total career change? Is it more creativity? Is it better communication? Is it better relationships in general?
Mine would have to do money and career. When I always say career and I get readings about it, sometimes I'm like, are they talking about my side passion or the one I'm building up, which is the happy healing shop, and that versus like my career, what is my office job going to be like? Because at the moment I'm unemployed, but every time I'm always, when I get readings and they talk about it, I'm like, which one are you talking about? Yeah, that's good.
March 2018. Because anything that you really start in your water year, it's harder. So I'm glad that you didn't start it last year. And you started during your fire year. So it really won't take off until next year, which is going to be your go for it year. And things really start to grow. So like just anything in a, like, you know, trees. I'm huge into gardening right now. Like plants, I had to put them down 2 weeks ago. Now they're just starting to sprout up, you know. And then afterwards, like in another month, it's going to grow so fast, you know. So you just got to know that right now, your seed is just kind of starting to sprout, okay? And you're doing a really wonderful job, seriously. Like,
thank you.
Promoting other people, helping other people too, and just collaborating, building a community, yeah, and reaching out. So that takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of energy. Okay.
It does.
So, are you in a relationship?
No.
Okay. Now, with your house, do you have a roommate? Do you still live at home? Do you live on your own? Is it an apartment?
Yeah, I just need 1-bedroom apartment.
Okay. Is it a high rise or is it?
It's only 2 floors and I'm on the 2nd floor.
Okay.
And most of it's facing south. I don't know if that matters.
Some of it does, but I'm just going to probably have some areas for you to boost up. Okay. All right. So money and career are your main priorities. Okay. So all these things really help because the wood element is all about vision. So I need you guys to really tap into that vision, especially during the next 2 months. Okay. Because what you can visualize, you can create and manifest. So the biggest thing for all of you is to do your own work, where creating vision boards or words in every room to remind you of the one thing that you want to grow the most. I actually had a really hard time with that word, visualize, and I've tried imagine, and sometimes I'm better than others with it, but the more I can harness in on my emotions, then I can feel into it and really, and it's not like some people will have like this clear, strong vision, and I think that's where I beat myself up on it, that I didn't, you know, and I was like, well, how do I know if I haven't ever been there or seen that? And it's just through other people. And so about the last year, someone else turned me into the word witness. I witnessed myself. Okay, so like for me, I witnessed myself living in a new home with Bella, where we flow and it's our own space. And that was like before, when I was looking for a new home for my little girl and I. and I could feel it, and I could see it, and have really the feeling that I want to be there when I wake up and such. And so now I do live in this magical oasis, and it did take me about 4 months to get there. But it had to start, and especially this week, because this is a new moon week. On the 10th is a new moon and also a solar eclipse. Okay, and so new moons are better for starting something new or casting your heart's desires out there, and making that intention. So I want you guys to have a ritual for like those 3 days on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. Okay. And so what it is that really is that you need to release at this time so that you can really step into it. Is it a fear of failure, or a fear of success, or a fear of what other people think of you? Okay. Or fear of success, because a lot of people actually have that fear, but they don't even know it. Because then what are they going to do next, or they don't feel like they're deserving of it. Right now,
I really loved her suggestion of saying I witness, because sometimes it's really hard for us to think like we're abundant already. So, and sometimes like doing those affirmations and everything, like part of you doesn't believe in it. So I feel like the tweaking of the word eyewitness is really helpful, because you're saying it's kind of like you're imagining it, but even though you, at the same time, you're also like seeing that you yourself have it. I don't know if that makes sense, but anywho.
In your home, if you guys can have like some plants, that would be really great for all of you guys. Okay. And also kind of weird, but maybe by your bedside, having like a plant that's like more like an herb, that's a flower and a plant, so that you can smell the dirt. I know that sounds weird, and you might have like a sensitivity to smell, but dirt is the earth element. Okay. And it helps get you grounded. Okay, and it'll help you grow more energetically. So like lavender would be a really good one, right? Or basil.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this way when you wake up, you're reminded of that. You actually have more of this like padding right here, and you also have padding here on your cheeks, and yep. So you're very abundant, and it's actually also another sign that you may be good with real estate as well. So somewhere in your healing path, maybe connecting more to that modality, because the home is really important, especially when people are home a lot more. And this is not just because I do space clearings, and that is kind of why I fell into that. It's a natural gift for you.
It's so weird, because I had an astrology reading in the past, and they were like, in your chart, it says you're going to own real estate. And I was like, okay. We'll see how it plays out. So
click above here to check out the video of my astrology reading, where it does mention that as well.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So just, like maybe like when you're driving and you see open houses, go in and check, and then where did that lead you, and then, I don't know. What would you like your business to be? How much do you want it to make?
Well, I know that I know it's going to be successful, and I know it's going to take years. I think it's just more like I kind of know what, like you said, I think you kind of might touched on it, like the theme of it, like, next year's going to be the button year. This year it's just like you're a sapling and you're kind of pushing off. Yeah, I don't know if there's like a season of like this year where like it's autumn, that's going to be more of like you'll see it poof, or like sure that you see it poof. Yeah, I don't know if poof is the right word.
So I'd like for you to sign or write a like a job acceptance, or like a contract of like your positioning and how much you're getting paid and all that, like a real form as if you accept that job. Your title.
You mean for like the office job when I interview, the day job? Okay.
No.
Oh.
For the healing shop, and you can do that for the day job as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you sign off on it for you. Because right now, you're like, you do it all, but it's kind of still ambiguous for you.
Yeah.
And and it can be revised, because, you're going to give yourself a promotion in August, right?
Yeah.
You're doing such a fabulous job.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'd like you to do that before the new moon on the 10th, okay, for your for the job, the day job, and
Okay.
Okay, and then I want you to definitely hang it up so that you can see it every single day. And you say, I witness myself being in a job that I love, that is a vehicle for me to do the healing shop, where I'm appreciated, all the things that you want. It's really important. Okay. Now, your forehead. Do you see how she has this beautiful round forehead, girls? So that's the forehead is the mother's influence, your teenage years, how well she socialized you. And so for you, what's your relationship with your mom like?
Not too close. Like I think I'm a bit closer. I'm more close to my dad.
Okay.
Yeah. She was kind of like the mom that she was more like a housemaid, sort of like how do you say, like a housekeeper, kind of like she knew how to cook and clean. Mm-hmm. And that was like mainly it. But you know how it is with like immigrants when they come from Vietnam, they just know to survive. So it's kind of like they know how to take care of the children logistically in terms of that. But it wasn't like the, how are you feeling today, honey? Like it wasn't like that type, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they give love. You know how like Vietnamese parents, they give love, but it's more of like they feed you, they overfeed you. That type of stuff.
Yes. Yeah. That's like the main thing, if the kid got fed. Yeah. Okay. So there's a part of the round forehead too is also a person who has a lot of expectations for themselves and a highly perfectionistic. Okay,
highly what?
Perfectionism. Yeah. Okay, so right now, a part of you too, the quote that you want to say, and I learned this from Marie Forleo, is progress, not perfection. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. And you're pretty good about taking action in ways, but being more gentle on yourself, like in the expectations of like how far you want to get it. Okay, everything has a time, so just remember that. It's also, you have this huge dome on your.
So with what's it called? It's so funny because sometimes I'm like, I don't think I have high expectations. I think that's the norm. Especially when you work at a workplace, you're like, should be high quality, shouldn't it? Anyways, I will notice in the beginning when she said about the triple wood, how there's impatience. And I'm like, yeah, I think my friends can definitely attest to that. I will say I'm not a perfectionist though. And that has to do with my impatience. It kind of overcomes. I think I used to think I was a perfectionist, but then when I actually met real perfectionists, I was like, oh, actually, no, I'm not that picky about like little things where like this has to be perfect and everything. Because again, that impatience sets in and says like, no, we need to get this done by this deadline. So whatever we have, like hurry up and let's go. So yeah.
Your forehead as well. Okay, like the roundness. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's actually a person that's really gifted from their ancestors. So right now in the morning, getting up a little bit earlier to journal and like getting 2 cups of tea, one for you and maybe one on whoever you want to call on for your counsel. It could be your mom's side of the family, maybe your great grandmother or someone that you just always like felt in touch with, or maybe on your dad's side. Okay, and then just having a conversation. I'm really having a hard time with this. Can you please help guide me in a way that I can understand in the next 3 days? Okay, giving yourself 3 days of grace. Okay, so every single day you can call on past people to like, Abraham Lincoln, if you wanted to, and having tea with him. Whatever you're feeling that day that you need to get more inspired from. Okay. And another big thing I want you to not forget is creativity and play. Okay, so I want you to dance every single day, one song. Okay, to get that movement. Okay, and get in touch with your heart. Okay. Asians kind of will have a little hard time with that in the very beginning. But no,
it's funny. I like to take dance classes like before COVID. So
Okay, yeah, it's time to get into that again, because in that your creativity will flow and you'll even be more brave, and the way that you express things will actually help people as well. And yeah, and you'll feel that change in your energy, and it'll really help you attract a relationship in the next 6 months. Okay, so you, where are you going to meet people? Or
you mean like just in general?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean like at the club and stuff like that?
No, not the club. No, just meeting people in general, like social events and such. Because for you, you like it to be more organic, you know, and yeah, and like then it's gonna be through friends of friends, you know, like barbecues, like barbecues, you know.
None. I don't know. I'm like, where do people gather for socials now? It's so far.
I know.
It's so far that I'm like, what did we do before COVID? I mean, I feel like the only time I ever hung out with people was like meeting up with friends at a restaurant, or like to eat out and stuff, or at the beach. But that's all I can think of. I've never thought about going to, not soirees, but like places where there's like groups of people, if that makes sense, where you meet. I would meet them when I traveled a lot, like in hostels and stuff, but I just can't think of like social events where I actually went out to.
Okay. Well, pay attention to your invites. Okay. And you're probably going to have more like little small gatherings like that. And then
birthday parties. That's another place to meet people.
Pay attention to your invites for the next 6 months and say yes to most of it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, when you show up, because you've got those beautiful, luscious lips, and you need to pick a color for the season. Because lips is your area of relationships. It's also your earth element. And they do have a saying that 30% women who wear lip color make 30% more money. So it could just be a gloss, okay? But pick a color for this season.
Okay.
All right. And you'll be more noticeable. And then whatever you say, people will be more attracted to that. Okay. And then the other feature for you that you really want to enhance a little bit more is your eyebrows. So eyebrows is the area of your liver, how you make decisions, how much patience you have for other people. Okay. So play with certain shapes. If you choose to do more straight, you're going to make more logical decisions. So why don't you try like one shape, like 3 weeks, and see how your energy is. If you do more round, you're going to have more kindness. If you do more of a peak, you're going to make faster decisions, but it may be more on emotions. Now, you also want to make sure that the eyebrows are like start like right here and end right here, because the longer the eyebrow, the more patience you're going to have for other people. And do you notice how like your eyebrow on this side is a little bit darker and longer than this side? It's harder to start right there. So your right side is what you show the world, and your left side is your intuitive side. So I want you to...
I actually think my eyebrow being lighter on one side actually had to do with the lighting in the video, because I was sitting by a window. So yeah.
You balance it out so that you can start sooner. And okay. Yeah. And then just see how people react to you, and then see the courage that you have, and then how that maybe it just aligns with your confidence a little bit more. Okay. Don't pluck it, okay, because you don't want to thin out your eyebrows. Yep. And just maybe the scragglies. But my eyebrows are actually very thin too, and they get thinner as you get older. So I had mine colored, and when I did make better decisions for my business. And that was about 6 years ago. Yeah, I didn't consider other people so much, and I was more bold and confident about it. Okay, so your nose is the decade of your 40s, also your lung health and your spine health. Okay, so turn to the side for me. So Jang, your nose is a really great nose as well. However, you will lend people money and give money to other people and not save it for yourself as much. It's always supporting other people. Okay, so I want you to each day, even though it's tough or whatever, I don't know, can you do Can you do $1 a day then? That's 31, or then you can bump it up to 2.
Yeah,
then,
I think a lot of it's more of like I give my time and energy to people.
Yeah, it could be that too. But because you're talking about money here, so.
Oh yeah. Because at the moment I don't have that much money to give away, but so for now, obviously when you don't, you give so much time and energy to help people.
Okay.
But yeah, I get it.
Then I want you to have a jar, and that would be your love bank, your happiness bank, your abundance bank. Okay. So that whatever you gave away to another person, I want you to put that in there and kind of like have it worth something. Okay. So that you can see it accumulate.
So so do you mean like kind of like a jar where like if I help someone, I write in there just to try to remind myself and see how much?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you see your love bank grow. And then also when someone compliments you, put that in there.
Okay.
So that you know that you made a difference. Okay. And in that jar as well, at the end of the day, you can write down like 3 things that you got to do today because of your freedom.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Because this way you'll see it grow, and then the abundance more and more, and you'll be more creative as well. And then you'll be surprised at just random people that show up that give you stuff, and in return, and for you to receive it. Okay. Because for you, when people give to you, like, oh my gosh, and then you actually overdo it too, where like you'll give back to them, and then they'll be like, it's okay, you already did. No, but I want to give you more of this. You don't know how much it meant to me. Okay. Yeah. All right. What would you guys like me to explain a little bit more for you, or have more insight? Because everything's going to change again in 3 months. And so I just want to give you some of that homework right now, because we're all co-creating together and all these portals are happening. And if you can really sink in those things, then you'll see the potential and openings to it.
Maybe like for all of us, what to watch out for.
Okay. So building the foundation, helpers show up. Probably for you guys, it's hard for you guys to accept help because you're such doers. And to act.
I know people like that. I will say I am not quite like that, because I know to delegate. But the thing is, I think the hard part is finding good people to delegate to, because you never want to give work to incompetent people, or where there is you're giving the work to the person that does not have the skills to do that type of work. So, but I know what she means when there's people, and I think there's actually a lot of people, to be honest, where they have a hard time asking for help, because they're like, oh, I'll just do it myself. And it's like, well, when you have a whole team, or if you can find people to help you that are skilled or actually have the experience to do something, like you should delegate to them, because especially when they're willing to help you. So, and so, yeah.
Ask for help before you need it. And people actually love to help. And then just sharing what maybe that you're going through in those conversations, and then feeling supported. Okay, because then there will be moments that you just get mad. We're like, I don't know why I'm doing this, or like I need to do it all. And that's very much the wood element, because they're so, they want things on a timeline and happening at a certain speed, and they're good at that. However, then you have a little bit more patience on things and for people. The next 2 weeks, though, be very, very patient with communication with people in general. There's just so many sensitivities. Full moon is next week, or like the summer solstice that time. So energies may be really high, so really check in with your energy if you want to deal with a lot of people or not, and if you're going to be triggered by them. Okay, but if you are feeling vibrant around the full moon, is maybe a time for you to show up more, especially if you are with you, Trang, the full moon week, the summer solstice, actually, it's better for you to show up a lot, doing live stuff with other people, and just making it really fun, okay, and just being more real and being more you, because the full moon will help attract that for you.
Are there certain elements that, I'm just curious, are there some more elements that show natural compatibility, like earth and water, wood and wood, water and water, things like that?
Yeah. So because you two are triple wood, sometimes when you're triple something, it's really hard for you to understand for another person. Okay, so with the chart, so like water puts out fire, right? And wood has an adhesion to earth. So sometimes with earth person, they move too slow for you. That might be the medicine that you need as well, to slow you down. Okay. So for a man that's triple wood, it's actually good for him to be with a person with earth so that they can be supported. Okay. So with wood, it's just you have to really work with your impatience. That's the big one. Yeah, and your expectations. So just letting go of the control a little bit more. In a work environment, though, you need a person that is integrous and resourceful. And so working with them.
That is very, very true. It's just like in the workplace, when you don't know the answer, like try to figure it out yourself first. At least that's what I usually do, and then ask for help. But there's so many times I've had people just come up to me asking the same question over and over again and not even writing it down, their notes and whatnot. And that really irked me and irritated me. Now I'm wondering if any of them are going to watch this video and be like, was that me? Usually those people probably aren't aware of it anyways. So yeah, so that's very true. She definitely hits on the nail with the impatience part. Although my other friend in here that was getting reading, she also has wood as well. And I think she has a lot more patience. So that's that. And then the control, I would say that I've met people that are control freaks, I guess. And that's when I realized I'm not as controlling as maybe like younger Trang, but I like organization, that's for sure. But if you control so much or if you micromanage and stuff like that, it's not really healthy for those around you or healthy for a team dynamic either. So it's one of those things that I think, at least for me, I learned that some things you just have to I won't say be more diplomatic about, but drop it a little bit more because it's not worth it for the whole of the group, if that makes sense.
You want maybe more straighter lines or a stronger jawline, okay? But for wood, it actually is really good if that person has more fuller lips or bigger lips, okay? Which you guys all do, which is great because they're going to be more communicative with your technique that you like. If they have thinner lips, they may not be able to communicate things as well, okay? Or they hold back because they don't understand their emotions to express it. And they may not be as giving to your standards according to all of your faces and all of your lips. Okay. For all of you too, you want to watch out for people who have really sharp features or noses that are or eyes that are really close to the nose, and the nose is really sharp because they are really hard on themselves and they contract a lot, and that's not quite your style. Okay, even though you guys are controlling, you guys aren't so contractive, and you a little bit more free flowing, where that could really just irritate you, unless you learn to communicate with them.
Is hair also part of it? Sorry.
Hair can be. If they have wavy hair, it's more the water element, which is creativity. Okay. And then if it's curly hair, it's more the fire element. Or if they shave their head, if they're bald, that's more the fire element as well.
And then my second question is, I know that you talked about this year's theme for us as us woodling people, I guess. But I'm wondering what our theme for 2022 is as well. That's
next year is your year to go for it. It's a wood year. So next year will be a really great year for both of you guys. All three of you guys. Yeah. and things will really start growing, and it'll be really fast. It'll be more the speed that you want, but enjoy the speed right now. And it's maybe a little bit slower than you want it to be, but really enjoy it and where you connect. Mm-hmm. And with earth, you really do want to be more grounded too. So that's why I suggested the whole having the plant, where you can smell the dirt, because unless like you can put your feet in the dirt or the grass, for 5 minutes a day where you're earthing. Mm-hmm. But next year will definitely be better for all three of you, where the more opportunities will open to you. But if you set the foundations right now and do your visions, and really feel into it and witness it, for you guys have to witness it. And the clearer that can be, almost like every single day, the better it could be. And stronger. That's why I want you, Jan, to write your job contract for both. Okay. And knowing that you really deserve it. So I'd love to know your homework, where you write down your witness statement. I witness that one thing that you desire. I have a list of 22 things because I love the number 22. 22 means dreams come true. And a few years ago when I went to California, it started showing up for me everywhere. So some people see the number 11. I see that too, but I probably see number 22 more. And so I have my 22 heart's desires. And on the 22nd of every month is an angel day, because it's a master number, and that's when angels help you more. So I always reread it then. Now I do read it, but I have my ukulele and I play my ukulele and I sing it, because one of the things on my list is to be able to play the ukulele and sing at the same time. You guys, I've been on this mission to play the ukulele for like 8 years. It still hasn't happened, but it's on my list still. And then when I reread it, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to pull it out, and I'll be good for like a week on the practice of it, like for 5 minutes here and there, and I get better. And then I get distracted and I stop, and then I read that. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I need to pick up my ukulele. And I want to go to Ukulele Fest with my little girl. And that's in Hawaii. And one of the things on my list is to be able to go to Hawaii for fun and business. So I'm like, okay. And I just like sit there and I strum it and I like let myself really feel the joy of it and like the other things I want. And it does come in sooner for me and better for me, because my elements are yin wood, yin metal, and then yin earth. So that's where I learned to play with those things and like being more creative and being able to know like what tools to use. And so same thing for you guys. First of all, you got to see it though. So writing that sentence down and then finding your way to revisit that saying all the time, writing it as much as possible. But maybe that's another homework for you to do, the 22 list, because then the portals will open for you. And I call it my 22 heart's desires. Okay. So Jan, I witnessed you having a wonderful crew to work with, where you're supporting them and they're supporting you, and you're really in flow and creativity and having fun, okay, in your day job and in your healing work. So I'm going to send you that right now. This is my tuning fork. I love it. Can you hear it? So I'm just going to clear you real quick. This is to activate your intuition. So you can see your truth. So you can breathe in all the wonderful things the universe has in store for you. All the right words flow from your heart to your lips at all the right times. You're always living from your heart. So you can digest food and thoughts. To give you strength and courage. to ground you. To remove past beliefs that don't serve you anymore. And to clear the path so you can step forward with excitement. To provide a protection field around you so only the good comes in and not the bad. So actually that goes to all three of you.
Okay, as you saw right there just now, she used a tuning fork. If you're a musician, you probably are familiar with this device. And there's tuning forks for different, I think, frequencies or chakras sometimes. But again, you don't have to go and buy out things like this. You can also use like a sound, a singing bowl, or also find recordings of things like this, like on YouTube. You know, if you just like search for like healing the heart chakra, like sound meditation, or like singing bowl, Tibetan singing bowls for the heart and frequency, or things like that, or frequency for healing, or frequency for XYZ.
Yeah. But you've got this cute little dimple here when you smile.
Oh, it's on one side, yeah.
Yeah. So that just means that you love to bring joy to other people. And that's actually another mark of a charmer. Okay. So I really do.
I'm meaning like someone's charming?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is why you need to be seen a little bit more. And that would be the side that you want to work on. Like the side tilted or whatever right there.
But this side looks better in photos, but okay.
So, show that side a little bit more, and especially during this full moon. You'd be surprised at maybe who you meet. Good. All right. I do have this recorded, so I'll send you the recording. And you guys can contact me at any time. Jan, if you just want to give them my phone number, you guys can text me. That's probably like the easiest way. But on my social media, I'm under Soyi Boutique for most of it. And I'd love to see what you guys manifest in 3 months. And, we can always revisit this because of things that we have to clear. The first layer is just like really getting to know each other and like certain faces. And then if you guys want to do a private one, we go deeper, because I know like this year I'm trying to cover all three of you, and so, yeah.
Okay, so I think overall the reading, as you can see, it was definitely more talks about the I'd say like personality and temperament of a person, not so much for forecasting, but as you can see with her thoughts, she doesn't believe that things can be predicted in the future in that sense, like a psychic can tell you and whatnot. So I think that people do see psychics in a way where like they can predict the future, and she does have a point where I think really the honest terms is that a psychic can maybe see a high probability of what's likely to happen, but again, we always have that free will, and she talks about that, which I really like a lot, and empowering people when they come out their readings that way. I also really like how she talks about saying I witness. I know I talked about that earlier, but I think that phrase is also very more inviting to a lot of us to kind of feel like we actually have that abundance or whatever it is, goal, dream that we want to manifest. Afterwards, she also emails you the recording of your reading, but also kind of like the numbers of the year. Like I think it's like 0 or maybe like 1 through 9, and what each year means, like the theme of the year, and also how to calculate as well. I think looking back now, for a face reading, 15 minutes could be enough. 30 minutes if you want some extra, which she offers those 2 sessions for different times at her website, which we will link down below. I hope you guys liked this episode of Getting a Chinese Face Reading. If you'd like to support Thuy and her business and a person of color, click on the link down below. And also don't forget to check out our other video where she's featured in our Asian Heritage Pacific Islander month, where we talked to different various small businesses owned by people of color. So comment below on what you think about my reading. What do you think was cool about it? Or is this something that you are interested in? Or what do you think about seeing the features of the face and what they told about a person's temperament or personality? Again, don't forget to hit that like button down there and subscribe. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.